Okay, so this is going to go over the behavioral, but it's also going to go over a little bit of the homework sheets that you should have gotten in the ebook. And this helps review everything that you're going to feel like is maybe overwhelming because it's a little bit of different. It sounds really simple as we listen to how to train a dog, but what happens is it becomes a little bit overwhelming because we want to go back to our old behaviors. And humans, as we all know, are the ones that we train, but they're a little bit of the hardest to train to undo behavior patterns. So when a dog comes home, to teach them what commands we've used, how to get the dogs to stop doing behaviors such as jumping, compulsive behaviors, going to the door constantly because they've learned that there's a way out, there's a positive, there's an interaction, um, begging, jumping on the table, jumping on furniture. So we have to actually first look at how we set our own home up and how we were consistent or inconsistent. So what I need everyone in the family to do is that you also want to make sure that every day from this point moving forward, the new words, even if it's hard for you to remember, put them up on the refrigerator, put them on a door, put them somewhere where you'll remember, such as, great example would be the word off. A lot of times parents will combine that with the word down, and they want the same response, but then they also want the dog to learn to down, which has a different body language, a different meaning. And remember that dogs learn over, we've learned that dogs have over 450 different body movements that they communicate to each other with. Just like we do with words, they do with body and sounds of tones of growls. So we have to realize that the way we communicate is just as important, such as I come through the door, and this will be for jumping, and I greet all crazy. The kids are all crazy. Everybody's like, oh, hi. Now remember, if I've greeted like this since they were 8 weeks old, usually little, really cute and jumping on us, we were petting them. That's a reward, and it's certainly not something they would get in their own pack. What they would get from the pack is puppies would play with each other, but the elders would never allow jumping. It would be discouraged by a complete body shutdown. They turn their back, the adults do, they walk away, and if they have to, they interrupt it. Now for them, they interrupt it with their mouth. The teeth go over the neck, or they interrupt the little one, and they keep following them until the little one learns, don't play so rough, don't jump on us. You have a boundary space. I tell parents, imagine it like a hula hoop, that you invite them in. But if you're inconsistent with that, just like if we're learning to drive a car, and today the rules, the lights all have one meaning, and tomorrow they have another, and we're not sure which and what is coming and going, and so it becomes inconsistent and very stressful, and you get behaviors out of that stress because they don't know what to do to make it right one day when yesterday it was okay. So to get back on jumping or to stealing or anything, we have to first look at the human behavior. We have to make sure that we greet them by ignoring them for the first 5 minutes when they walk in. That also includes eye contact. Eye contact is huge as a body language, dog to dog. So it has, every eye look you give them has a meaning. Every body movement you do has a meaning. So if I'm facing them face on and I'm interacting like they're jumping and I'm petting, then I'm rewarding it. I'm also letting them think that this is a good behavior that's always wanted. And then sometimes as they start to mature, they start to learn, just like a child does, that if they come in and they kind of bug you and bug you and bug you or get your attention, you'll finally, whether it's them getting into something or coming over and demanding something, you are creating a behavior you actually don't want. So the very first thing as a family unit, you have to look at what behaviors do we want. We want the dogs to learn to wait at the door. We want the dogs to learn to wait before the dog food bowl goes down. We want them to learn not to jump. Now the jumping, I'm going to stop and freeze that again because that's a big one. And it's one that most humans accidentally destroy. They have already rewarded the jumping. Then they've become intermittent where one day it's okay and the next day it's not, especially if I'm busy, I've got something in my hands and I walk in and now the dog jumps and hits me in the gut. They don't know anything that's right or wrong. So our body language, Let's review. We come in, we're quiet. This includes the kids. Even if I have to go get them and put them on a leash and take them outside, I'm gonna do it quietly. To the door, take them out, have them go potty, bring them back in, until the energy is calmed. If they go to jump, the body language turns and removes yourself. So a lot of times parents will hear, turn your back, but they forget that if the dog is still jumping behind you, that's not teaching them anything. You're shutting down. Turn away, walk away, come back, ask for a command, sit, touch, name, response, are all three behaviors that then they can get a reward for acknowledging. Catch a behavior. Catching a behavior is, I see that they started to jump, they put all four paws on the ground. Good off. Remember, your word, power word is good. That's a marker word. It let them know, oh, I did something right. And it's paired to the word of the command. Now, if you're teaching a command, we're pairing that all along in the beginning as we teach that command, what it means. Sit means sit. Good, sit. We treat that. But as they move along in training, we start to ask the command, sit. Then if they don't sit, we follow through in getting them and still say good sit. Now this is the other part. Dogs should never be in the beginning off leash, because what happens is they learn when the leash is on, I have to do this. When the leash is off, I don't. There's inconsistent patterns again. If I have a dog who doesn't even know how to do a command on leash in every environment, that means if I walk down to the street party, or if I go to the restaurant, or if I get in the car and I want them to sit, and I want them to sit at the door. These are all different places. And you need to first make sure you have the relationship with your dog, that they first know to look up, pay attention. That's usually name, response, and touch exercises. Second, you know what you are planning as the trainer. So you've got your treats ready. And when I say treats, I do dog food, chicken, but you want to have something ready to then, when I say good, off, I reward. There's got to be a motivation beyond just being petted in the beginning, especially when you're training a dog, and then if you are untraining behaviors that were accidentally rewarded. So let's review on this. Anytime you want a behavior, you have to have it planned that everyone in the family is using the same body language, the same words. They've got the dogs right now first on leash, because up to now, especially if they're over 6 months old, they've probably learned that when they're off the leash, you have very little power, which you really do. You have to first get them listening on the leash and have every human knowing how to use the marker words, the right body language, or else everyone's sending very confusing messages. Second, you've got to make sure that any behaviors that you're trying to get have a reward method, that you are good with timing. Praise is really great. Toys are great. But treats just happen to speed it up faster. And there are happy hormones that are released anytime you're being rewarded for something. So any dog that has never been taught, it doesn't matter if they're a year old, 2 years old, or 6 month old, unless they were taught this at the very beginning as a puppy, you are training a dog. Now, if they go and they get trained, such as if I were to train someone's dog, they still have to go home, transition to the new rules in the family. If all the things stay the same with the pack, the family pack that is, your words, the way you were communicating before, the way you were handling them before, then it's not going to transition, because it's only going back to the old ways. So we've got to work together as a team on this. So first, make sure everybody understands how to greet and meet, how to reward with a marker word. The marker word for something we don't want, which you will now hear in the next video, will be and that's paired to a body language as much as good is paired to a body language. So that's it for right now. Be good humans, and please like if you like your video.